Hey guys, welcome back. It is your favorite Gimp with a Limp, and I'm here with something way different. I'm just spouting off at the mouth this evening, and it's because I'm having this problem, right? And it's driving me nuts. And I think it's a problem that only hits grognards, right? War gamers. I don't think generic board gamers. There might be some games out there that can cause this issue, but for the most part, I think this is going to be a war gamer issue, bar none. I just don't think other games can compete. And see, the problem I'm having is I've been killing myself trying to learn this game, right? And it's not this game by any means that's causing the problem. I've had this problem with other games, but it's like the rule book is in Braille or something. And I'm sure I can't be the only one who's had that issue before. Well, you'll pick it up and you start reading it, and it's just in one ear, straight out the other, and you can't retain anything. I've probably read the first few pages of this thing. Let's see, where have I gotten up to? I've gotten up to, about strategic bombing. Yeah. I've gotten up to page 20, man. I've gotten up to page 20 on this thing, and that's the farthest I've gotten, and I've been reading it over and over again, just trying to get the concepts to get in and stick. And I think the problem comes from the fact that when it comes to war games, and especially war games of this size, right? The bigger, the more complex, the deeper games, there's so many interlocking pieces of the game, things that happen that you have to have knowledge of this, that goes to this, that goes to this, that goes to this. And it's just little things, like little nuances. And I understand, and especially the Pacific, right? Not this game, but the Pacific theater gets hit with this a lot because there's so much that has to be abstract and thought out when it comes to supplies and logistics and lines of communication and how sea combat's going to be handled. It always seems to be the hardest part of any game. In any European theater game, they always kind of abstract that out or make a little box off to the side. This is where your shipping is going to be handled, or your ships are kind of left at port and you just move them magically from one port to another port, and things happen in between there. Now, there is the war in Europe, right? The first part of this game. This is the second in the series. I don't have the first one yet, and I'm thinking I should have started with the first one. Because the Europe one, it's already said in this rulebook that there's differences, right? Especially in the way that sea conflict and stuff is handled. And I get that it's a lot more in depth here, and it's got to be that way. Cool, no problem. Now, like I said, I'm not hating on this game. I would not struggle so hard if I didn't want to get this game to the table. But I've had that before, and I've played plenty of games of this size, this depth. And some of them, I'll sit down, start reading, and it's just like I'm Albert Einstein, and everything I look at, I instantly understand, and it clicks, and it's just bam, right there. And I don't know, maybe it's the way the rule book's written. Maybe some people do it better. Maybe the concepts laid out in a certain order. Now, I know the rule book being fleshed out properly is going to have a big difference on how well you can understand it, but I think there comes a certain level of complexity that it doesn't really matter how well the rule book's laid out. You're going to have issues with it where you're going to have to just sit there and read that rule book more than once, going back over it to your concepts, because there's no real good starting point, is the way I think of it. That any point that they start from trying to teach you the game, it's going to correlate to some other part of the game that you don't understand yet because you haven't got to that part of the rule book. So as you read on and you're like, what is this? What's a magic point? What's a logistic effort? And what chits are they talking about? So I'm sitting there reading up on it. And as I get further into it, I start going, okay, well, that makes some kind of sense. And I'll drop back to it and like, okay, I get what they're saying here. I get the point that's being made. And for some reason, it's some games, it just clicks, right? I'll remember it. And I know part of it probably has to do with my brain injury bullshit that I have the bad memory and sometimes things just don't click, but it drives me nuts when it doesn't, because I've been promising you guys I was going to get this to the table for weeks now. I've been trying, and I promise you guys I've been trying. I'm reading it in the mornings. I'm going to the bathroom. I got the rule book like Cartman in the South in the World of Warcraft episode. I'm thumbing through this damn thing, and I've always got the way I try to learn a game, especially a game of this size, right? I always read through the rule book once, and then I pull the stuff out, especially the player aids and at least a portion of the map, and then I read through it again. And as I'm reading through it the second time, I'm like, okay, this is what they're talking about, and I'm like pointing out everything. Cool. And usually that second time through, it's just to walk through. So third time, I'm getting ready to film and I'm setting up stuff. I'm like on version like 20. I'm trying to read this damn thing, and nothing's hitting. Nothing is sticking in my mind right now, and it's driving me crazy because this has been out for a little while. I can't remember. I think it came to me 3 weeks ago, maybe somewhere in that time frame. And I don't want to be so far past the point of getting it that you guys aren't interested in anymore. But you just have to understand it takes a while to get this level of a game, this size, this scope understood. And especially if I'm trying to relay that information to you guys, not only properly, but then my own thoughts and opinions on it. You know, do I like it? Do I not like it? What do I think of components? What do I think of all this other stuff? What do I think of the rulebook? Oh man, I'd burn this MFer. It's nothing against. Okay, who designed this damn one? I don't want to hate on the designer. Game design, Ernest Copley. All right, Ernest, this is not in relation to you, buddy. I'm promising you, I would not be struggling so hard with this damn thing if I did not want to get it to the table. I love Pacific Theater games. They're some of my favorites. I love carrier battles. That Battle 360 that was on the History Channel when it talked about the Enterprise fighting off Japan. Friggin' love that. I've watched that thing like 30 times. I love that aircraft carrier combat and the Marines taking the islands, jump, the whole Guadalcanal thing. I love the history of it. You know, I got involved in it when I went to boot camp, and they, beat that shit into you. You're a Marine and you're invincible and you can kill thousands of Japanese. It's in your blood, blah, blah, blah. All that type crap. So, I love these types of games, but I'll be damned if European theater ones are 10 times friggin' easier to learn. And that's the thing. If I'm having this much trouble trying to get it into my head, I think it has to be 100 times harder to design the game, right? Because there's so many different concepts, and then you're having to decide how deep are you going to go into it. And like I said, I'm not hating on this game at all. I haven't even played it yet, so I can't give a verdict one way or the other. But I love games of the scope, size, area. But I'm expecting to hopefully not have the same problems with this one, because I had mentioned recently to you guys that I'm going to try to do some OCS stuff because I haven't done it. But I am sitting here going, should I really do that when I'm having all these issues? And this one has a large as hell rulebook. I'm not even going to worry about that tiny ass die. This one, 40 pages, and I think it's 70 on the one that just covers OCS rules. So I was sitting there thinking about it. Do other Grognards have this issue? Is it just randomly? Like for me, it'll be just a random game, and usually it's a more complex one, but it doesn't have to be. It can be a smaller, 40-page rule book or something like that, and it won't click. And a lot of times I have to, push that game to the side and come back to it later and try it again. And a lot of times that's all I needed. I was too focused, too bogged down. I couldn't get my mind around it. And I'm wondering, what do you guys do? Do you guys have the same issues when you're trying to learn a game? Do you have some that you just, no matter how hard you try, no matter how much you read the damn thing, you can't get your mind wrapped around it, and you're sitting there having nightmares about it? You're thinking about the counters like, oh my God, they're thousands. I got to clip them all. And actually, that's the one good thing I will give to this game. I can already tell you guys. It's got, as far as the counters are concerned with the die cut thing, it's good and bad in the way that they literally fall out of the cardboard. I mean, these are die cut like hell. You barely touch them, they're falling out. So that's great. They're not tearing up. They're not going to have a whole lot of jagged corners. But that's also a little bit of a pain in the ass because they're cut too well. So when you try to lift up the counter sheet, they're all punching out. And you're like, no, I don't want to knock them out yet. I want to keep them in there. This is a game that can never be unpunched because it'll always have the counters falling out. Now, the worst for that, though, and I know I'm rambling here, but the worst for that was DVG's Fleet Commander Nimitz. When I got that game, I remember I bought it 5 years ago or so, whenever. It was many years ago. And I got it, and I was so excited when the box came in because it was, Pacific Theater, and it looked really awesome, and I couldn't wait to get to the table. And I lift up the box, and I'm like, what the hell's in this box? And I'm like, shaking the box, and you could just hear little pieces just rattling in there. And I lift the top off the box, and the box is about this size for a Fleet Commander Nimitz, if you guys haven't played it. And it's got something like 8 counter sheets in it or so. Counters are the double length, half width type thing, so something like an inch long, half inch wide, something like that. And almost every single counter in that thing had fallen out. And I went and looked it up, and evidently a lot of people had that same problem with that game. I think they've since obviously fixed it in later reprintings of the game. But for those first copies, it was horrible because every single counter, whatever they had, like 800 in the box or some shit, were all just loosely scattered in the box. And I was like, oh my God, no. I had to dump that damn thing on the table and slowly divide them all out. And thankfully they had numbers on them so you could divide them out, I think, by year. So it was like 1940, 1941, 1942 on throughout for all the different scenarios. So that worked out well. But yeah, if you guys have a different suggestion, because I don't want to keep waiting to get this. I've got some other games that are lined up, prototypes coming in that I'm wanting to cover for you guys. It's going to be here probably within a week. And I'm probably going to have to wait to start this one until after that one, because I know that one's going to be a hell of a lot easier to learn, and I just don't want to keep putting it off. And that's my problem. I've been promising that I'm going to get this to the table, and we are at, there's like 100 pages. Yeah, there's something like 100 pages worth of rules. How far does it go here? 114 pages. 114 pages worth of rules. And I'm up to like page 20 after a week and a half of trying to read this thing. I'm thinking I'm probably going to have to take a couple of days and just put it down and let my nemesis cool down, and I will come back at it with a renewed vigor and a determination to win, because I can't defeat it right now. I don't know. It just seems too daunting. And I don't want to get to where I don't enjoy the game because I feel like I'm fighting it, And I swear every Wargamer's probably had this experience with a complex game that they were trying to muddle their way through, that you feel like you're fighting against the rules and you're constantly trying to dig in there to make sure you're doing it right. And you can't remember all the triggers and the modifiers and so many damn tables and everything to worry about. And you just start to like bog down. So I don't want to get to where I resent it and don't even want to play it, because I'm really excited. I was really excited when I saw the Kickstarter for this. I was like, I have to get that. I love grand scale logistics type games where you can replace your units. I mean, come on. I love Absolute Victory, and that game's like a mixed bag. You either love it or you hate it. But I've always loved it, right? I love the idea of the World at War game, the 3rd edition of it, which I've muddled with. Just those grand scale games, where it's covering the whole table and everything, but it's getting through the rules, right? You don't want to feel like you're fighting it. You want to enjoy it. and right now I feel like this thing's beating me. I swear to God, I'm having nightmares about the rule book. I'm just, no, I can't get it. All right, so you guys, you tell me what you do. What do you do? Do you take a break? Do you take a vacation? Do you burn it at the bonfire and just say hell with it and move on to a different game? I think I'm going to take, like I said, I'm going to do that prototype. I've got another small one, sequel to one I showed you guys previously. I'm going to take and cover. I might poke at OCS a little bit. Like I said, I'm just going to take a couple of days, put it down, walk away, let my brain decompress. And what bothers me is I know I'm going to have to start back from square one. I'm going to have to go back to the first page, start reading the rules again. But honestly, I mean, I'm not losing much. I haven't got that damn far in it anyway. At this point, all I've really done is punch the counters out and organized them by nation and admin counters. I mean, that's the most progress that I've made on the damn thing. So, I mean, a couple of days isn't really going to push it back that far. But if you are excited or if you've tried it, by all means, put that down in the comments too. Let me know. And let me know what you guys do about your grognard problems. Or if you have other Wargamer issues, yeah, feel free to put it down below. See if everybody's suffering the same type of issues that I am. All right, but that's going to be it for this one. I'm done ranting. You guys take care. I'll see you in the next one.